Welcome to this Facebook Live, CFS, the coronavirus, and keeping your immune system strong. Key to dealing with this virus is to take steps to strengthen immunity. So to that end, in this Facebook Live, I'm going to be sharing tips for good nutrition, lifestyle habits, and mindset. Thanks to nutritional therapist Crystal Mendez dos Santos. I did ask her to share some tips and she covered a lot of ground for me. And I will post a PDF in my group today or tomorrow with some tips and resources, so do join my Facebook group if you'd like that. With all these tips, do what you can. Be okay with your limitations. Just do your best. And obviously tailor the tips that I'm about to share to you and your situation. Regarding supplements and herbs, which I'll talk about in a moment, check whether there are any contraindications. Consult your doctor, especially if on medication. Key point, for some people with ME/CFS, their immune system is overactive and these people report not getting colds, flu, etc. Whereas for other people, their immune system is compromised. So let's look at how to boost the immune system, and let's start with nutrition. First thing, sugar and processed foods disrupt immune function. So do your best to eat a whole food diet and minimize the consumption of refined processed foods and sugar. This is targeted and specific nutritional support. It's one of the ways to strengthen mucosal immunity and to help prevent or address any viral infection. Check out the video I did with Crystal for more information on diet, which is on my YouTube channel, but maybe I'll add the link to the resource that I'm going to post in the group. Eat immune boosting foods such as citrus fruits, sticking with the lower GI fruits, for example, lemons, grapefruit, blueberries. Dates, bell peppers, lots of veg. Try and eat the colour of the rainbow, leafy greens, broccoli, cabbage, bell peppers, oily fish, fermented foods if you can tolerate them, not everyone can. Sea vegetables full of trace minerals and antiviral herbs and spices such as turmeric, ginger, garlic and oregano. Those last four things are all things that are pretty cheap. I've got a friend who swears by turmeric. She just puts some turmeric powder in her herb tea and she believes that that does really help boost her immune function. So supplement tips from Crystal. First is vitamin C. She suggests 3,000 milligrams per day in divided doses. She says that liposomal vitamin C is best if you can get that. I remember someone sharing that there are various berries that are high in vitamin C, including acai, acerola cherry, camu camu. So, you can get those in powder form and you can experiment with just taking small amounts. Crystal suggests vitamin A, 6,000 IUs per day, zinc, 20 milligrams per day, vitamin D3, 6,000 to 10,000 IUs per day, and a multi-spectrum probiotic. As I mentioned earlier, just do what you can. So let's look at some herbs that can help keep the immune system strong. So licorice is one herb. Do not use licorice if you have high blood pressure, and check all the other suggestions as well. Crystal suggests skullcap, rosemary, andrographis, artemisia annua, dandelion, olive leaf extract. Dr. Rawls, who's written a post or made a video about dealing with coronavirus, suggests echinacea augustifolia, and he suggests that's the best form. Someone in the group shared that they made antiviral tea using schisandra berries, mullein and licorice and drank 2 cups a day. She says that schisandra berries have been shown in clinical trials to prevent viruses from being able to invade cells. If you do get sick, drink lots of water. I think the same person posted in the group to drink warm or hot water. Drinking helps flush any viruses into the stomach, where the stomach acid kills them off. So let's look at a few lifestyle habits. It's understood that the virus travels in air droplets that travel through the air. So when people sneeze and cough, they're blowing out active virus particles that are infected. And there's some evidence that you can pick that virus up from contaminated objects. One report suggests that the virus can survive 3 days on a surface. Another report, I think 9 or 11 days. So obviously it's really important to, number one, wash your hands thoroughly, especially when you're exposed to other people if you've been outside, and to wipe surfaces. If you do go out to public places, some people with ME/CFS are able to wash your hands when you're there. Use little alcohol wipes and that sort of thing. Really wash your hands thoroughly when you come back inside. Be careful about touching your face. It's another way that we can get the virus into our nose or mouth. Dr. Bill Rawls also says generally use soap and water over alcohol-based sanitizer. So don't overuse that. Use it when you need to. Crystal has shared a recipe to make your own hand sanitizer, so I'll post that in the group. Now, the next tip is going to apply to some people, not others. Just, stay away from crowds. Obviously, that's not going to be an issue for some people. So get fresh air, even if it means opening a window. We need, to change the air, especially if we are stuck in the house a lot. We need to get an air change. So do make sure you ventilate your house or flat or whatever as much as you can. Get exercise to the degree that it is appropriate to you and your situation. One tip I have shared before is that if you are limited in how much exercise you can do, there is research that shows visualizing exercise strengthens the muscle. Get proper rest is the next tip. I've made a video on what rest is and what rest isn't, which is on YouTube, so check that out. Again, I'll put that in the resource PDF. Ensure you're getting, to the best of your ability, good quality sleep. If your sleep hygiene needs refining, now is the time to do that. Going to bed at the right time for you can make a big difference. Avoid toxic chemicals wherever possible. Crystal does say reduce EMF radiation, so that might mean turning your mobile phone off at night, putting it on airplane mode, not having it in the same room. So let's talk a bit about mindset. So your mind impacts your physiology, okay? So first tip, keep away from fear-mongers or negativity. Number 2, choose your sources of information carefully. Seek out reliable sources. And third point, be conscious about how much time you spend exposed to the media discussing coronavirus. A friend of mine said she was watching the news and someone was really hyping things up, and it turned out this person worked for the vaccination industry, so they were really putting their own spin on it. So just be aware of that. People in the group have been sharing where they get good quality information from. Tip 4, it is appropriate to be concerned about this, okay? And to take sensible, proportionate, precautionary measures. Rather than allowing ourselves to be carried away by unhelpful thoughts, by catastrophizing, I speak from experience of being a master at this. Okay, at one point I was very good at generating lots of stress by the things I was telling myself. And I know as human beings we can at times be really good at generating unhelpful responses. Using energy generating unhelpful responses isn't the best use of energy. Consider that you could spend lots of energy generating unhelpful responses and not contract the virus. The next point I share with love, okay? Consider whether the way you are responding to this issue is a pattern. And what I mean by that is when I did management training, we explored stress management, and something the trainer said really stuck in my head. He said, in a crisis, challenging situations, people often have default responses. Some people will move into solution mode, they'll take charge because that's what they tend to do. Some people might move into being over-controlling because that's what their tendency is. Some people get scared or withdraw, feel resignation, hopeless, because that's what they tend to do. Some people get angry because that's what they tend to do. So consider this question. Is this a pattern for you? Is the way you're responding a pattern? If you had asked me that question some years ago, I would have said yes. The stress response to challenges was very much a pattern. I was a stress junkie, if you like. And you may say, well, actually, I don't think that is an issue here. Equally, you could expend lots of energy generating unhelpful responses and contracting the virus, but this isn't going to support your immune system. So it would be reasonable for people to say, well, maybe some people are scared, stressed because they have more serious issues. And that's a fair point. But what I'd like you to consider is that if we found 100 people with the same health challenges, let's say 100 people who were in that vulnerable group, would they all respond in the same way? Now, I didn't listen as much as I should have in statistics classes, but I do remember talking about probability theory. And based on probability theory, I would suggest that not everyone will respond in the same way. Some people will respond more resourcefully than others. I've already had one person who is in the vulnerable group say, I don't say to anyone that I'm feeling calm for fear of being told that I'm wrong, misguided to feel that way, or incurring anger from others who feel criticised by that comment. Other people have said, I have moments of fear and there's moments where I feel calm about all this. Now, it's completely understandable if you're feeling vulnerable. As stated, maybe you are feeling scared, and it's okay to say that. It's also okay to say that you're feeling calm. Neither is wrong. Be compassionate to yourself. My personal philosophy has always been that if someone else is responding to any situation in a more resourceful way than me, then maybe I could up my game. So consider that. If some people are responding in a resourceful way, is it possible that you can? I had a conversation with a friend of mine who lives in Costa Rica this morning, and I said, how are you feeling about all this? And he said, he's a healthy guy, but he said he was really freaking out about this. And he said, how are you? And I said, I'm actually okay. This is a healthy person responding in a very unhelpful way. He admitted that he's just getting very stressed about it all. So your best defense is to keep your head, especially when some people around us are kind of reacting to the situation, buying hundreds of toilet rolls or whatever. So how do you do that? How do you keep your head? So I want to share a few suggestions. Number one, do your best to stay solution focused. If your mind starts running away, consider what solutions you could implement. We can be problem focused or solution focused. Sure, we need to identify and acknowledge the problem. Sometimes I notice that some people don't move to exploring solutions. Second point, recognize we can't control events, and in the moment we might react. Our emotions are something we don't necessarily have control over in that moment. But we can listen to our emotions. We can influence our response. We can influence the conversations we're having in our head. And the things that we're saying to ourselves can influence our physiology. Point 3, if you need to speak to someone, a trusted friend, if you have got access to a good doctor and can have a conversation, do so. Point 4, if you recognise that you are being triggered by this, one approach that I talked about in a video that I made last week, which again I'll pop the link in the PDF, is an exercise where you connect to your inner resources. This involves having a conversation with the part of you that is responding unhelpfully and accessing the part of you that is wise, pragmatic, has the capacity for calm. So it's not about trying to suppress those feelings that part of you is having. It's about listening to that part. And sometimes that's enough to just really sit with the feelings, allow the feelings, and to let them pass. There might be times when you feel it's appropriate to engage in a conversation with that part and see what solutions you can come up with. Some clients have actually said that they take a pillow and lie in bed and give it a hug. And imagine they're talking to their scared part. Okay, if you find that a bit woo-woo, no problem. Do whatever works for you. But practice nurturing yourself. Tip 5, use a meditative approach. Practice observing your thoughts, your feelings, your emotions, rather than stepping into them. Again, I made a video about this. Instead of going into the future and running unhelpful movies, practice being present. Consider that your mind can't think two thoughts at the same time. So, for example, when you're really focusing on your breath, you can't think about something else. Years ago, I had flu. It was around about the time of swine flu, and I've never felt as bad as I did then. And what I recognised at one point that I was generating quite a lot of stress. And then I realised I had some tools at my disposal. So I decided to spend half an hour a day, twice a day, being present, relaxing. And within a few days, I started to feel significantly better. Okay. Point 6, imagine your mind is like a bus, and imagine or recognize that you are the driver of that bus, or you are the driver of your mind. You can influence where it goes. If we're really good at generating unhelpful responses, it will take some effort. And I can tell you from personal experience that with consistent practice, you can change this. Point 7, also consider your mind is a bit like a DVD player. You can decide which movies to run. So if it is unhelpful, if you're running an unhelpful movie, imagine pressing the stop button, the eject button, and putting another DVD in. So when you press that stop button, imagine taking a deep breath and decide what conversation you want to be saying to yourself. You might be saying, I've got this, I can handle this. Someone in the group posted a video by a chap called Dan Buglio, and he talks about putting his hand on his chest and reassuring yourself, saying, Simon, you're okay, you've got this, I am with you. Tip 9, in my group you can access a free timeout relaxation audio. It's a very simple exercise, and you can listen to it and guide yourself through it. Also consider doing visualization. I remember a client saying that when she was feeling or generating a lot of stress, she imagined she was actually sitting on the tube and she imagined her friend massaging her. Sometimes I've done that. I've actually lied down on my stomach and I put lots of pillows there so I'm comfortable, and imagine someone giving me a really nice massage, and I have felt more relaxed as a result. There are loads of guided relaxation videos on YouTube, so check them out. Just make sure that they are using clean language, so they're focusing on what you want to feel, not what you don't want to feel. So if there's lots of, let go of any stress and tension. You want language that's more allow yourself to relax deeply, to connect to calm, etc. I have actually created a couple of relaxation audios, one for sleep, one for relaxation. So check out my website for those. And feel free to share any tips that you do have that you think might be useful to others. Do what you can. I was listening to a podcast earlier today, and this woman who had a really, really tough life, she spent some years as a teenager living homeless. She's become a very successful psychologist and has achieved great things. And one of her core messages to people is, you are stronger than you think. Okay, so hope you found that helpful. Do leave any comments. Tell me what you liked, what you found useful. Tell me one takeaway you're going to take from this session. Thanks for watching. Wishing you great health. Bye for now.